that are otherwise good. If they can't actually step up when it really matters more than anything else, that's a serious hindrance.
It's a big concern. Also strange, Skarner banned red side, or blue side, excuse me. Not much what you see.
Skarner banned blue. Maybe Moon is just not comfortable with the Skarner. I mean, that's pretty much the only explanation you see for those kinds of things is, like, you don't want to give it away no matter what, but if you don't want to play it, if it's just not your style, then I guess you got to ban it away yourself. It is a little bit strange to see them not at least save it for third, but
yeah, see if the other guy will pick it up. Olaf was a ban that maybe could come in before it. Who knows? Either way, a fair amount of jungle bans early on here for both teams. The Kazakhs getting banned away. I mean, Sejuani, Zach, there's still plenty of power picks available, but yeah, a big pinch down on the early game champions.
Kha'Zix, Skarner, Olaf all banned away. Camille, I guess you could also consider half of a flex into the jungle. Maybe.
Some people do it, yeah.
Mostly a top laner, though, and then Azir and Ryze banned out from the mid lane there. Clutch Gaming picking up the Xayah for themselves first, with Rakan not banned away. This echoes back to what we talked about in game number 1, where now they're saying, okay, Echo Fox, you have to take Rakan.
And the thing about Rakan is that, like we were saying, he is generally an aggressive support, wants to go in, W, knock people up, go for trades. I thought they were potentially going to combo that with Varus because at level 6 you do get some all-in kill threat because you can get the kind of chain CC down with the Varus ultimate into the knock-up, into the taunt, and all this stuff. They don't do it. They go for the Sejuani and they say, Clutch, if you want Xayah Rakan, it's all yours.
There you go. Let's see if they decide to take it. That Galio also still open, still available. Instead, oh, okay. It looks like it will be Rakan first. I mean, that one seems like practically a sure thing. So why not just lock that one in first? Give yourselves a little bit of time to think about that next pick.
And I can understand why they hovered the Zac there, and maybe it's like, well, we don't want to get pinched at jungle, which is already pretty pinched, and if they take Sejuani and we grab Galio while it gives us a crazy dive comp, you know, there's more bans that can come in here. Also, Moon's Evelyn got through. Generally,
okay.
I always see Moon's Evelyn banned in the first round, and we keep saying, ah, man, they keep banning this out. Is it really necessary? He's saying, yeah, it's necessary because I'll pick it. And so that's why they don't go for the Galio there. They knew the jungle pinch was probably going to come in after the Sejuani pick. Zach, Evelyn sounds like great bans.
That's fun. I'm excited to see the Moon Evelyn pick this time around. Echo Fox's response to that really strong Xayah Rakan lane will be Varus with Leona, though.
This is a lane that we've seen a couple times. It takes a little bit to turn online, but then you hit this nasty CC chain combo at 6 where you can insta-give either member of it, especially Rakan, because while he is not quite melee, he is one of the squishier supports in the meta. He's not a tank, so you can actually burst him down 100 to 0, and so people tend to go for the Leona for that. I know the broadcast team has spent a lot of time discussing all the power spikes of Leona versus Rakan. And I think this is just one of the few matchups where you feel really comfortable taking Leona. It doesn't have specific things it does well.
Well, maybe it's just what the doctor ordered. Maybe that is how you deal with Xayah Rakan. Echo Fox in this second part of the bans will get rid of Trundle and Gnar there in the top lane. The response from Clutch is going to be more top laners as well. 4 top laners banned out second phase with Cho'Gath and Shen also joining the ban list.
And that gives them the Sion. Still can potentially flex to mid lane. But you have to think with how many bans, it's clearly the best top laner left up, so probably going to Alaram's hands. Does play a fair amount of tanks. And we're getting into an interesting situation here where there's not much early game pressure on the side of Echo Fox, and so Sun can potentially get this free kind of, or excuse me, Moon can get a free clear till 6 as Evelyn, and then maybe camp the bot lane, especially if this Galio pick gets locked in.
Yeah.
That all-in level 6 bot lane that Fox had kind of picked for themselves now might run into a lot of trouble trying to actually execute that game plan.
Especially if Moon can be successful on this champion that people are normally so scared of him being able to play. Let's see what Clutch Gaming decide to round out the comp with. It is Ornn, so that will be their final piece of the puzzle here. That big meatball in the top lane, give a little bit of extra team fight viability. And the answer from Echo Fox is Cassiopeia in the mid lane to deal with Galio. Sion will be going top.
Yep, so like we said, Sion top. Ornn will match him up there. Xayah, Rakan, Galio, Eve. That sounds pretty gnarly. And then, like I said, you know, you get Sejuani. It's one of the weaker junglers in the early game. Will have a tough time really holding down that Evelyn. We've seen, you know, Kazakhs into Evelyn before in the LCS and stuff like that. And it's very hard for the Evelyn to make it to level 6 where she starts getting all that gank pressure unlocked. I don't know if he's going to have that much pressure this time around.
I mean, we got to see earlier today Galio, Xayah, and Rakan in the Cloud9 game.
It looked pretty good.
They had Olaf that time around who could really pressure the Sejuani. Evelyn's not going to be a big pressure point herself early on, but sometimes not applying that pressure back, like you just said, can be enough of a win condition for Evelyn to allow her to do what she wants to do here in this game, as both teams are out onto the Rift in a big playoff game. This is going to decide a lot. Remember, Echo Fox winning here not only eliminates Clutch, but 2 other squads as well.
And I really am concerned for Echo Fox. I feel like this is a very dangerous draft. The Olaf versus the Evelyn, you're trading some brute force power for finesse. You need to look for your angles, pick your spots a little bit more. Olaf presses R and runs through everything.
Yep.
So maybe a little higher barrier of execution, plus the fact that Olaf's level 3 and level 2 are disgusting, whereas, like we said, Evelyn needs to power farm till 6. So it's not quite the power level of the C9 comp where it's like there's no way that they should have gotten that, but I am surprised to see the Galio not get banned out in the second phase, picked up by Sun, completing the Xayah, Galio, Rakan combo. And like we said, you know, Lost and Papachow want to get aggressive in the bot lane, but if there's all these things hovering around the bot lane, it's hard to pick your spots.
And the faster Moon can get to level 6, the happier Clutch is going to be, because remember, new Evelyn, we haven't got to see a lot of her in professional play, but you don't get the invisibility until level 6. So the gank pressure, not quite what you would hope for it until that point, but once it gets there, that's when things can get pretty scary. So starting off with the blue buff for Moon means Max Trobo is going to be giving him a little bit of love with the leash. Starting off on the red side for Odd Orange, it's Alarim who'll be up there helping him out as the violence starts early here in the bottom lane. You can see Piglet and Vulcan really trying to be aggro with these guys because of how powerful Xayah Rakan's level 1 is.
Right, so some of the things people talk about with Xayah Rakan versus Leona is that you can stun the Rakan when he goes in for his W. Yes, he still gets the knockup, but maybe you can trade back on him and stuff like that. It's not a particularly powerful looking trading interaction, so I think like we said, it's much more about that level 6 power spike and being able to play Leona and have kill threat into a support, when in the meta, almost everything's a tank and it's hard to get that kill threat.
Yeah, those tanks can be really difficult sometimes, like what we saw from the Braum in the previous game.
The Tom Kenches, the Alistars, you're not killing any of them at 6.
Everything can be difficult in those situations, as Moon and Vulcan, recognizing the priority they have over the bottom lane, thinking about maybe keeping an eye on the enemy blue buff, but they're not going to do anything too crazy just yet.
And you were talking about some of those differences with that Evelyn pick. Without the stealth pre-6, it is hard for her to find overextended enemies without getting spotted out, as well as the fact that her ult at 6 is less of a gank starter the way it was before, where it had the slow and the percent current health damage.
Right.
Now it's about an execute at the end of the fight and getting yourself out of there. So it's just some small differences.
All that about that big finisher. And I mean, that works really well with the Galio too. You talked about how when people were originally learning Galio, kind of figuring out how the ultimate works, you can use it to go in with an assassin, protect them as they make their way into the back line, and you can make it so when Moon goes back there to get that target, you make sure he gets who he came for.
One of the potential areas that this game plan could fall apart for Clutch is, of course, the mid lane, where currently Damonte is kind of taking it to Sun, who does have the teleport, can recall here and go back and pick up a corrupting pod or something and come back into the lane. But he is going to be getting pushed in, and if it is a matchup where the Cassio can get pressure through trading, it's hold on here.
Bottom side, it's Piglet in some trouble. Lost also going to be taken very low here, having to get himself away. Ignite goes down. They won't quite be able to chase him all the way out. Lost has to flash over the wall. Both summoner spells used there by the Echo Fox 80 carry. Same story, though, for what you're seeing from Clutch.
Only difference is Rakan does hold on to his flash and does have a little bit of sustain built into his kit, so he can help top Piglet back up, and then they can push this a little bit.
Odd Orange will face check the brush here. Moon finds him waiting, gets a little bit of damage down onto that one. Sejuani not really in a spot to fight that Evelyn. No, it's not Olaf, but you're still Sejuani.
I mean, that's the difference. If that was Olaf, that might be a dead Sejuani right now. Or
that's at least a flash.
Yeah, that's a flash. So a little less pressure early on. And then, like we were saying, the Cassio-Galio matchup, Cassio can get priority in it if they do a great job landing their Qs and getting the E damage before Galio starts building that bigger health and magic resist pool. So if you can control the Galio, maybe you can buy the space for your bot lane to go aggressive on this summonerless bot lane of Clutch Gaming now, basically.
And I like seeing what Moon's doing, too. Just after he forces the Sejuani away, go in, steal the Raptor camp. I mean, take every opportunity you can to find small leads through the plays that you afford yourself, as Odd Orange will move towards the enemy jungle now, but will quickly find himself shoved right back out the door as Vulcan shows up to cut him off. Sun's really just not afraid of this whatsoever.
Yeah, it's a good decision, I think, by Clutch as well, not to force on Odd Orange, let him walk out of there. You're not really trying to pick a fight, just protecting that mid lane. And they're just going to go back to farming. Talk about Evelynn not really having pressure in the early game. We're kind of painting it like she has to power farm till 6, but you can see that she is able to get aggressive on the Sejuani sometimes, which makes it one of her better jungle matchups.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like she has to play the entire early game passively, but just comparing the pre-6 Evelynn pressure to the post-6 Evelynn pressure, the invisibility to the non-invisibility, it makes sense to want to pursue that level 6 as fast as you possibly can, just because, I mean, most champions have that, okay, we've got another tool in our disposal now with the ultimate coming online, a big playmaker, whatever, but Evelynn just kind of gets to enjoy that twice with the invisibility also becoming a factor at that point.
Absolutely, and we see some pressure down the bot lane. Feels like Clutch Gaming sense it. They have no mid lane priority. They don't have much vision control around the mid lane. 0 wards down there, so they know they can't really walk up right now. You can see Papa Chow, now Odd Orange leaving, so they knew couldn't play aggressive. Smart play by them, something that you sometimes hear Piglet getting criticized for, his over-aggressive tendencies. Not going to fall prey to him this time.
Absolutely not. Going to play this one passive, play it slow. Just allow yourself to be set up for success once that chance comes a little bit later on. Moon, still only level 5, means that he can't just sneak up through the lane. I mean, that's another big thing about the invisibility, right? You can just walk up the lane if you have the chance. Creates whole new paths for ganks.
That's one of the most notorious Evelynn ganks, is just walk up into somebody's brush in top or bot lane, and then you go to just to walk into a brush like you've been doing for your entire League of Legends career, and then all of a sudden there's a champion in there now.
Uh-oh. But not happening just yet. Not just yet. Neither jungler finding themselves at that level 6 point, but top lane, both of them have level 6. Those are both big playmaker ultis as well. They can start fights off. Bottom side, it's Vulcan going in there onto Papa Chow, who immediately casts the Eclipse and makes it so they can't really do a whole lot else with that afterwards. Piglet losing a lot of HP there. Lost getting off a small combo.
There you see the small bit of sustain Rakan can bring in. You add in the fleet footwork and some pots, and Piglet should be able to heal up and not be under too much pressure. The heals are coming up. There is the cleanse for Vulcan. They might go aggressive with Moon, now 6. Moby Boots fast around this map.
Yeah, Moon will make his way into that brush. Papa Chow doesn't have the ability to see him here. Moon is all the way behind Lost now. This could be exactly what they're looking for. Your charm comes down. Vulcan going to be looking for this when the charm lands into your follow-up with the grand entrance. Piglet is rooted and stuck by the ultimate from Lost. Can't quite do anything just yet. Moon having to pop the ulti, getting himself away. But the root is down and the first blood is there. Clutch Gaming find their mark.
They have to back out now. Both mid laners are coming down as well as the Sejuani coming in, but looks like they're actually still willing to fight.
Piglet's still in some trouble. He gets stunned up. Nice shot there from Odd Orange, but the Galio entrance will keep the AD carry alive, if only for a moment. Odd Orange having to flash out from this one. Moon still looking to take him down. Piglet will fall. Demonte moving in now, looking to clean up multiple people if he can. Sun will clean up Papa Chow. Gets himself that kill. Now has to wander away. Vulcan wants to execute if he can here. I don't know how good that might work. Nope, it's a triple for Demonte.
Whoa, boy, this game exploded, and the gold has ended up in some pretty concentrated places on the side of Echo Fox. A good play by the bot lane of Clutch Gaming goes on for what is probably a little bit too long. I like the idea here. The counter engage by Lost was good to keep Piglet away from him. Vulcan has the cleanse, but Piglet still has to walk through the tendrils, so he gets CC'd up. He eventually has to flash forward with the ultimate to get the kill onto Lost. All that's great, but you need to start backing out here. The Galio and Cassio were kind of scrapping, and the Cassio was winning that trade pretty hard. So even though he has the ult to still join in faster, the Cassio is not that far behind. And so the Sejuani comes in, locks them into the middle of this lane in this kind of skirmish, and everyone's low HP. Demonte finally shows up. He's going to grab 3 kills for himself. We talked about how the Cassio was already a bit of a problem for Sun. It felt like Demonte was playing that matchup very well. It's going to get even better now, able to finish his Archangel staff off this fight.
And I like what Demonte did. He knew Vulcan had no way out. He's like, I'm going to leave you here for later. You're the leftovers.
That's dessert.
Dessert, exactly. Snake food. And a 3-0 Cassiopeia is a nice weapon to have ready to go as you move further into this game. Echo Fox doing well with this pick. We talked about how it was surprising to see the Galio left open. Well, maybe this was their answer for that. Maybe this was the reason, is they were like, yo, Damonte can play this Cassiopeia into the Galio. He can have 110 CS to 77 and do great with this.
Yeah, I mean, it's a monstrous advantage. The gold lead is relatively close, but I can't imagine mid lane looks anything like that. And I think you'll see very quickly that this game is going to come down to how much can Damonte pressure the Galio while the bot laners go ham on each other and Moon tries to influence both of those matchups.
Well, the initiation attempt comes out in the bottom lane, forcing the flash away from Piglet to escape the chains of corruption from Lost. So the play attempt will be shut down there by Clutch Gaming. However, Echo Fox getting that summoner spell out, that feels good.
It does feel very good, but like we said, both people focusing a lot on the bot lane, and with the pressure in the mid lane, Damonte helps him grab the Infernal.
Infernal Drake feels good, man. Drake #1, that's always what you want to see, and it's also going to be Drake #2 here again. So that will encourage some fighting as Moon makes his way behind enemy lines. Not quite getting himself onto that 80 carry. Has to use the ulti to get back out. Alora making the TP into the fight just to make sure. There's 4 men from Echo Fox in the bottom lane. The last remaining one sticking around here mid to really put the damage into Sun's health bar. Sun just can't go anywhere near this Cassiopeia.
Yeah, I mean, that's the problem right there is Damonte clears the wave, doesn't actually need to roam, and just needs to cut Sun off from doing it. Now they're rotating mid.
Oh, he almost caught him out with that ulti there in the middle of the Justice Punch, but can't quite find it. Now Odd-Orange tanks a lot of damage from that tier 1 turret. Nearly goes down, but thankfully for Echo Fox, nearly is not enough to actually put the final little bit of damage into that health bar. He'll get himself away.
Will get himself away, putting some attention out in the mid lane, but I don't think they want any piece of her.
Okay.
Cassiopeia is a big girl.
Yeah.
The most important thing to note from that whole exchange, despite all the summoners going down, is the teleport advantage that's for Clutch Gaming. And the fact that Cassio, with all of her pressure, might actually take mid-turret 1v1.
Cassiopeia so strong in this game. This champion is always one that comes into the conversation about lane bullies and how difficult she can be to deal with in those situations. And man, getting off to a 3-0 start, especially in a world where we touched on it very briefly in the previous game about the AP atomization changes. And the big winners in the AP atomization changes feel like Archangel staff users because the item is so powerful now. And Cassiopeia is that to a T.
That was the thing before. She definitely needs a massive mana pool to spam out all of her spells. The thing was, there was no way previously of getting a big mana pool and getting cooldown reduction and potentially some defensive stuff. You did have to go the tier, and then you would often go Lost Chapter. Now you just go Archangels, you get all of that together. Huge single item power spike for her, and then she can just keep building more and more damage.
And as that damage continues to pile up, Echo Fox will continue to pile on here to the mid lane tier 1 turret. The counterattack comes out from Clutch Gaming, looking to stop this one. They've got the Ornn ulti coming in now as he makes the flank through the TP. Papa Chow having to retreat from this one. Max Trovo going to be the target, but the Galio ult will keep him safe and sound. Odd-Orange there on the front line. 3-man taunt coming out from Sun. Moon grabbing himself the first kill of the fight, as now Papa Chow goes right back in and gets shot right back down. It's a 2-for-1 so far, but the counterattack from Echo Fox is very real. They've still got the damage from Damonte. The slam from the Scion will not connect. And now it's Clutch Gaming, who have found themselves in a victorious fight, but are still looking to hold the line on the tier 1. Reinitiation from Vulcan, finding his way on to Lost, as the miasma comes down to finally stop the fight.
A little touch and go there, and Echo Fox do lose out trying to finish that turret off. The teleport from Max Trovo brought him in behind, but didn't really get a great target for his ultimate. So Cassio was able to kite off to the left side. They burned down and trade some frontline members. And after all that, Echo Fox, despite losing in kills, has enough pressure that the Cassio can finish this turret off. Good decision not to get over greedy there. Wait for them to kind of leave so you're not in a 4v3 before resuming that pressure. The turret's so low, you're going to get it anyways.
Let's take one more look at how it all went down.
And there you see the slow mist, so you cannot follow up on the Cassio. That's the target that you want. And afterwards, Max Trovo was just like, all right, I got to get out of here. And does find a re-engage option onto the Sejuani. So they're able to kill them. They kite it back out. Papa Chow ends up a little bit too far forward. Alarim not really able to join in there. But this whole time, you haven't dealt with the big snake in the mid lane. So Cassio's just putting out tons of damage. They disengage. They take the mid turret. Game's still very close, but Echo Fox still in the lead.
Echo Fox fighting well as a team around this Cassiopeia, which is kind of the name of the game at this point, it feels like. You got to play around Demonte, who's really just turning this into his own type of a show. I like the Abyssal Mask pickup on the Scion to further increase the damage Cassio is going to be doing, as well as helping out some of that AP damage you'll be getting from the Varus as well. Moon hangs around the mid lane, constantly lurking. 2, 1, and 3 on this Evelynn. He's already got his jungle item completed, working on that Sheen now. This guy's pretty scary.
And there, Cassio just goes out and basically outright buys the Leandries. Hadn't gone back to base for a while, was out so long that her Archangels actually turned into Seraph, so I was waiting to see what she'd pick up. No surprise to go with the Leandries. Great item on her, giving it a little bit more defense. She's always in combat. Lots of tanks for her to focus down this game as well, so we'll definitely get the most out of that Madden. What is it, maddening? Madness. I forget what it's called.
I don't know either.
Damage ramps up with time.
Yes, the damage goes up over time. The Leandries is effective, and Cassiopeia is going to be in the fight for quite a long time, considering she is that sustained damage champion. Hitting both power spikes at once with the Seraphs and the Leandries is incredibly scary as well, because now she's got that big shield to make sure she stays alive if she does find herself in a spot where the CC can connect from Max Trobo or Sun or Vulcan or anyone.
And we get to see the Dragons continue to kind of propel this game forward. Another Infernal Dragon. Cassio's already massive.
I love it.
Why not give her some more AP with the second Infernal? Does feel like Clutch will kind of need to fight this one. I don't think they can afford to fall 2 Infernal Dragons behind. And there's a ton of vision control for Fox, so it's going to be hard for Moon to kick it off with a nice flank or something. And Fox, Demonte's Cleanse and Flash will be up, so you want to kill this Cassio, but she has the tools to get out of it, as well as just being huge at this point.
Well, Clutch Gaming, they don't want to give that Infernal Drake up, but you can see 3 different control wards already placed in the bottom part of the river by the side of Echo Fox Academy. They really want to make sure they can secure this. The fight could break out at any point in time. Vulcan and Moon hanging around there in the river. Moon being spotted out by the Scryer's Bloom. Knows he has to get back, kind of wants to reestablish that air of mystery around where his position is. Rotates around the back of the pit and then circles back down. If he can get a jump on somebody, that's the big key right here. You want to see this Evelynn that has 100% kill participation continue that and continue to make these plays. Odd Orange thinking about coming around from behind here. But I think if you're Echo Fox, Mark, you got to be so careful about trying a play that doesn't have Cassiopeia in it, since she's so much of what this team is.
Well, I think something you can look to do is potentially bait out the Clutch Gaming engage, because your backline with the Cassio, how big she is now, is way stronger. So if you start something off, know the Galio's coming in, and just look to disengage and bait that, or hell, why not just take it for free?
Just take the Infernal Drake. Sometimes you go for that flex and you dare him to come up, and they're just like, nope, not accepting the dare. Walk away, give over the Infernal, and that is a pretty big bonus to have on the side of Echo Fox.
Definitely, and my point still stands, I believe, about how Echo Fox can take these team fights. You definitely don't want to over-engage, and that's something that Leona sometimes struggles with. But bait out the Galio ultimate, and then after that, all you have to worry is the Rakan, but he doesn't have the Galio ult to come in over the top. So you can potentially just buy a ton of space if you're willing to go aggressive and then walk away one time.
And remember what we said at the start of this game, it's not just Clutch Gaming that are really wanting to win this game because they need it to stay alive in the playoffs, but I guarantee you the TSM and Optic Academy rosters are both watching this game, cheering for Clutch just as hard as anyone else is, because of the fact that Echo Fox will eliminate them as well if they succeed in winning this one. Even though they're down 1 kill, being up 1 turret as well as having some farm leads means that Echo Fox Academy enjoys about a 1,000 gold lead as we get closer and closer to 20 minutes, closer and closer to that Baron being a thing, and Cassiopeia is real good at Baron too.
Oh yeah, I mean that's gonna be a big concern when we get it past the 20-minute mark. This is definitely a game, if I was watching, I would be frustrated. I'd be like, I felt like you guys had such a great draft, and then your mid lane just got destroyed way harder than needed, and now the whole game is a lot more difficult because you couldn't pressure bot lane quite like you should have. Another interesting thing that happened with the draft was with all those top lane bans, you end up in a tank versus tank matchup, which is not very volatile.
Nope.
And because Evelynn no longer has that pre-6 ganking threat, hold on here.
Oh, Odd Orange finding himself in a spot that might be a little bit difficult, but it's lost onto the back line that might be able to have some free firing time, and it's actually Piglet dropping first. Papa Chow there in the middle of multiple members of Clutch Gaming, but still might be able to get himself away. Demonte with the firepower brings himself a double kill, and Echo Fox Academy win the fight.
Another fight picked on Echo Fox's terms, and Demonte is completely unfocused during the fight. She's always just being able to melt anyone down. With how far ahead she is in this game, a tank is not a tank to her. It's just another squishy. to burn through.
Damonte is absolutely wrecking this game. 5-0 and 2 100% KP. Just demolishing people with this Cassiopeia. 3 for 0 in that fight for Echo Fox means Clutch Gaming just loses yet another bit of that grip on this game, and you can only do that so many times, Mark, before eventually you find yourself in a spot where you're just praying for a misplay from your opponent.
Basically getting to that point now, 5,000 gold lead. If you ever do find Damonte and can kill him, then great, you can potentially win this fight, but you need to actually start going on to them. Here, they open up onto Odd Orange, they drop a lot of their CC and crowd combo down onto him, and then Piglet's just caught out of position and gets popped instantly. Damonte now focuses down the Sun, he's gonna die, and it's just, you obviously need to go onto the Sejuani, you can't ignore her, but maybe you don't drop the Rakan ultimate. Maybe you hold on to that until maybe Damonte shows himself. You need to find ways to get onto Damonte. He does have all his summoners. The first attempt might not work, but oh, that feels bad.
Very, very unlucky for Echo Fox there. Thankful if you're the side of Clutch Gaming, but
it is a little surprising to see that they went for a double turret take. They took top, outer, and mid, inner instead of just going for the Baron. I mean, they'll probably be able to get it anyways, so I'm not going to say it's 100% wrong, but felt like that would have been a better use of their time.
One thing I do want to mention real quick, because we talked about it at the top of the day and it hasn't been relevant until now, Banner of Command, completed on Max Trobo, second item. So if they can get a Baron, they have the ability to make the meme tier siege minions with it that can just melt a turret in 7 auto attacks from full HP. Their opponents do not have a similar answer.
They might have one soon on Leo.
Okay, they do. They do right now. Sion actually just completed one.
Aha!
Sion has a Banner of Command, but Max Trobo actually kept 3 minion dematerializers just in case.
So this is the meta game that you get into a little bit now. You know, we spent a little bit of time talking about who does it favor, when and how. If someone's holding minion dematerializers, you can not build the Banner of Command and just build more personally effective items that are going to enable you to do different things. Like, hey, maybe I want a Righteous Glory or something. Or you build it now, you force out those minion dematerializers with your first Baron buff, and then the second one is the one that really crushes the game.
You gotta love, I love watching one tank walk up on another tank, because if that was any other role, you know it wouldn't exactly be played out that way. Flash away from Sun, trying to get himself out of this collapse, but 4 versus 1, we've talked about it before, it's so difficult to get away from. They're trying to collapse on the global, but they don't have the damage. Sun on the Galio, even though he's behind, he's still very tanky, and Echo Fox utilizes a couple ultimates there to not really come away with anything other than a flash.
Not bad, though. Maybe a small overcommitment as no one is in the mid lane anymore, and Clutch Gaming have the inside track towards that, but
plus Lost used his own flash, so
he did
is there
indeed.
Really much of a gain there?
Well, they haven't been able to really engage onto your backline yet, so who knows? Maybe you don't need it that much.
Maybe not. Maybe not. Bottom side, Alorum putting some work in onto this turret. I like the fact that Sion has custom auto attack animations for turrets too. So many times champions just whack the turret the same way they would smack a minion or another champion or something, but Sion, nah man, he really puts his shoulder into it. I like that.
I mean, the turrets don't feel very sturdy.
No, especially not when you're a robot. But you might also be a spooky, invisible.
I mean, like they get killed by feathers. Blow
Those
darts.
are really sharp feathers.
Blow darts.
Those blow darts have a lot of poison on them.
It's a rock.
It's a magical rock that can probably be poisoned. And speaking of magic, we're also looking at more magic items coming online. Moon getting himself that Lich Bane. Now running on the Evelyn means he might have some solo kill potential if he can find the opportunity to go around the back line and make his way onto Lost. I doubt he's going to be bursting down Damonte anytime soon, who has both the shield from the Seraphs as well as Banshee's Veil. Holy cow, this is going from difficult to nigh impossible to take Damonte down.
Interesting to see what happened there. I think they might have spotted the recall that came in from Echo Fox. They had a couple members back in base. Max Turbo teleported in, and then Papa Chow threw an ultimate down. And a choke point, most likely to stop and engage. Didn't want to get cut off. And here, I think, you know, Echo Fox is at such a strong point. They can basically just start this Baron, dare them to walk in, and then engage. And then maybe just take the fight themselves, use Alrim to actually start the fight. They are so strong with Damonte that as long as he doesn't go down, they will win this. And with the Banshee's Veil, like you said, it's very hard to make him the primary target.
And a 6,000 gold lead 24 minutes into the game, that's difficult to deal with no matter what situation you're in.
Yeah.
But when all the money is highly concentrated around just this massive glass cannon of an opponent. Now, hold on. I've got to actually ask you a very important question here, Mark.
Okay.
We're seeing something that we don't see a lot. MarkZ has upgraded his Abyssal Mask to the Ornn version of the Abyssal Mask with only 2 items completed. Now, normally Masterwork upgrades are reserved for 6 items, everything's complete, this is the last thing you build. A little bit strange to see this.
It's definitely a little strange. The only thing I can think of is, for some reason, that was the amount of gold that you wanted, and whatever else you would have built, you didn't have quite enough gold for it. Okay. You know, maybe you don't want to commit to a full other item slot for some of the extra stats that you're going to get from Abyssal Mask. So you didn't want to start clogging up your inventory more. Because he is holding on to the minion dematerializers, starting to pop those a little bit more now, which I'm a little surprised to see him go from 3 to 1 when the enemy team has a Banner of Command and hasn't used it on a Baron buff minion yet. But I would figure it was mostly for item slot efficiency now.
Well, we'll have to see if it ends up being a good decision for him at the end of the day. They're still down a substantial amount. They still have 2 Infernal Drakes already taken by their opponents. Cloud Drake is live, but Echo Fox aren't too concerned about that. Instead, they're going to move right on to Baron Nashor right now. They're daring Clutch Gaming to come try to stop them. They've already got it down below half. The Cassiopeia damage is more than enough. Papa Chow will buy time and lock Moon down specifically. Echo Fox do that cleanly.
Very easy Baron for them. Keep Damonte on the Baron. Pull off Papa Chow to play zoning duty onto Moon. Without flash, and as soon as they get eyes on him, it's really hard for him to find an angle to actually get onto that Baron.
And now those minion dematerializers will come into play, Mark. There's 1 still left for MarkZ. The Banner of Command will be up and available shortly on the side of Echo Fox Academy, but they don't even need it right now. They're pushing down the mid lane. Inhibitor turret number 1 will just crack under this pressure, and the response from Clutch Gaming is not there.
Yes.
Alorum on the front line, can't really do anything. Vulcan looking to go in, able to find the mark onto Damonte, but that's still not going to be enough just yet. Sun tries to do something, instead going to be grounded up by the Miasma. Moon having to use the ulti just to get away. Stunned up is Sun, he's gone, no way out of that one. Echo Fox now continuing their push. Alorum on the side, buying time. Damonte looking to put the Twin Fang into MarkZ over and over and over and over. And Echo Fox will continue pushing, looking potentially for the win right here. They've got the minion wave, they've got the Baron buff. The push continues, and this game is going absolutely landslide in the favor of Echo Fox after grabbing that big objective for themselves. Vulcan goes down, can't quite find the initiation he's looking for. MarkZ going to be forced off. They grab the kill on the Moon, and that will likely just be it right here, right now. Echo Fox needs another minion wave, but the only one standing is Piglet. Sun will be back in a moment. The minions are here, and all that's left is the auto attacks. They put them into the remaining Nexus turret. Sun comes out to try to defend this when there are low health bars on the side of Echo Fox Academy, but it doesn't look like it's going to be enough today. Sun goes down, Damonte is dominating, and Echo Fox will continue their quest for playoffs.
It looked a little crazy in draft to give away the Zio, Rakan, Galio comp with an Evelynn. You think there's going to be crazy bot lane fights, but like you said, Damonte takes that game into his own hands, takes control of it, destroys Sun in the mid lane, gets huge CS advantage, also is able to match the Galio roams, which is very hard to do, gets 3 kills, and then continues to pressure around mid lane, grabbing that mid lane turret.
He played so well from start to finish. Let's take one more look really quickly here at that final push one more time.
And it just is strange that Clutch Gaming are not even in position at all. The Baron drops, they didn't really lose anyone, and they're not actually like ready to fight on the turret, so the turret drops, and now you're taking this fight without that kind of extra defensive advantage that you should have, as well as the fact that they're coming in from all these different angles, totally split fight. And if there's one thing that they needed to do, it was find Damonte and kill him. You need to be very coordinated in that attempt. Not at all the case here, and so Damonte is able to find some kills. They're able to buff up one of their minions. Didn't want to wait for a cannon, that's fine. And just this entire time, just no threat on Damonte. You see them focusing everyone else down. He's up on the top left side, just pelting people with those Twin Fangs, flashing forward, finding more kills. Gets a little awkward as the minions run out, but that's just a 10-second delay until they grab the next wave and grab the game.
Postponing the inevitable at that point in time. Echo Fox, I mean, that was an awesome showing from Damonte, particularly just as that mid laner. And we got another replay lined up now. 8.5 minutes into the game, a bot lane fight that gives him the triple kill that starts that snowball rolling.
And this is just over-aggressive. They've already killed the enemy AD carry. They continue to hang around. They're willing to bait this fight, and you see everyone sitting at around 50% HP. They instantly kill Piglet. That's one of your damage dealers gone. Vulcan's too low to do anything. Moon doesn't have anywhere to go. Sun's going to be able to get that kill, but he's got to run away right after. And so Vulcan has the minions on top of him, nowhere to go, going to give the third kill away. And that was a matchup that Sun was already getting crushed in. You come back after that fight with an Archangel staff, goes from bad to worse.
Especially when, like we said, that item is just the biggest power spike around in the mid lane these days because of how good it is, because of how efficient it is. And when you're Vulcan, you feel almost bad watching that clip because the 10-second execute timer feels like an eternity when you're just waiting and hoping that that turret shot will be an execute instead of a kill.
Yeah, and this was definitely one of those games we were talking about how in game 1 with C9 where it was a draft advantage and they play it very well. This was a game where I still feel like there were some good things in the draft for both teams, but clear execution advantage on the side of Echo Fox with how hard they dominated mid lane. I like that they got a stable top matchup, so Evelynn really couldn't influence that. They played around bot lane well, but anytime you give up Xayah, Rakan, Galio, I still feel like that's a mistake. They did react very well to it. Leona and Varus is a nice counter pick, but when the enemy team has Evelynn as well, it's getting so dicey there. It's like, why don't you take a bit more stable of a game that's not going to completely explode around bot lane, but hey, you know, hats off to Damonte for controlling that entire game.
We had questions about the draft. Echo Fox had answers. And those answers ultimately also ended the playoff hopes of Clutch Gaming Academy, of TSM Academy, and of Optic Gaming Academy. That's 3 for the price of 1 as Echo Fox continues. Game 3 is coming up next. Actually, that was Game 3 at the end of the day, but it's Game 4 coming up next. I apologize. We'll have to relearn how to count here, but when we return, it's TLA versus TSM Academy. Don't you go anywhere. You're watching the North American Academy League.
We had the remake.
Yeah.